Saturday mornings in Willow Creek were sacred, not to anyone else perhaps, but to me. At 68 years old, with 2 bad knees and a military pension that barely stretched to cover fertilizer, mowing my lawn was more than a routine. It was a ritual. Me, my old zero-turn mower named Freedom, and the smell of fresh-cut grass. That mower had been with me through 2 wars, 3 kids, and the loss of my wife to cancer 8 years ago. Since then, the lawn had become my therapy, my sanctuary. That particular morning, as the dew clung to every blade of grass and Boston's more than a feeling hummed through my headphones, I was lining up the perfect diagonal cut along the driveway when a shadow fell across my yard. I looked up to find a tall, wiry figure in black cargo shorts, a fluorescent vest, knockoff aviators, and a clipboard gripped like it held divine authority. His badge looked like a cereal box prize. "You're in violation of HOA Regulation 7B. No lawn mowing before 9:00 a.m. He barked without introduction. "I'm issuing a citation and ordering you to shut that down immediately." I pulled out my earbuds. "Come again?" Community Code Enforcement Officer Ethan Carter, he said with manufactured authority. "I'm empowered by the HOA to issue fines and, if necessary, detain residents until compliance is achieved." I blinked. "Detain?" He nodded solemnly. "Please step away from the mower, sir." Freedom gave a low rumble beneath me, like she didn't appreciate the tone. I slowly dismounted, keeping my composure. I had faced fools before, but no one had ever tried to cuff me over lawn care. Ethan scribbled on his clipboard and handed me a $150 fine printed on glossy paper with a tulip watermark. The citation number was handwritten in blue pen, and the signature looked like a child forging a doctor's note. That's when I heard the shrill voice. "Excellent job, Ethan. Standard round, just like we practiced." Margaret Hensley, self-appointed and never officially elected HOA president, came striding across the street with the self-importance of a royal envoy. Late 60s, hair bleached to copier paper white, megaphone in one hand and a low-fat latte in the other. She was dressed in a neon tracksuit that matched Ethan's vest. "You're disrupting community harmony. We authorize Ethan with temporary enforcement privileges. He is the law here." "Authorized with what?" "A kazoo and a fever dream." 3 modules of online training, she sniffed. 3? That's 1 more than it takes to adopt a goldfish. Ethan puffed up. "This is serious, sir. You're not above the law." Funny, because I am the law, but I didn't say that. Not yet. I wanted to see how far they would push it. This was no longer about mowing the lawn. This was about principle, about cosplay power trips masquerading as governance. I warned them. "You two better rethink this. Keep pushing, and it won't end the way you think." Margaret gasped. Ethan pulled out a pair of zip ties. "Sir, one am authorized to detain you. Did you get those from your kid's craft box or the dollar store?" By then, neighbors had emerged. Phones were filming. A toddler's yelled, "Get him, Grandpa." I wasn't sure if he meant me or Ethan. I stepped in close, low enough for Ethan to smell the coffee on my breath. "You lay a finger on Freedom, and I will personally escort you to county lockup." He faltered. Margaret stepped in. "This neighborhood needs rules. Order. What you need is a dictionary. This isn't enforcement, it's make-believe." I turned my back, restarted Freedom, and mowed my lawn with the precision of a surgeon. The crowd doubled. Someone brought out popcorn, another pulled up lawn chairs. It was the best entertainment since the blackout of 2010. When I finished, I parked Freedom in the shed, locked her with a softball-sized padlock, and gave Ethan one final warning. "Try something like this again, and I'll show you what impersonating an officer really gets you." The next morning, I found Freedom chained to a street lamp. A laminated impound notice dangled from a handlebar, stamped with the fake authority of the Willow Creek Community Authority. The signature, Ethan. I laughed, a dark, bitter laugh. They thought I'd surrendered. They were wrong. I called Sammy, my neighbor's 14-year-old grandson, and a digital whiz. Within minutes, he was filming the scene like a documentary, British accent narration and all. We interviewed neighbors. Turns out, Ethan had zip-tied Agnes's mailbox shut over unregulated flora and fined Father Michael for outdoor sermons. I gathered everyone at my place. Sammy live streamed it under the title, Neighborhood versus Napoleon. I gave a speech beside Freedom. This isn't about grass. It's about dignity, about not letting someone with a clipboard pretend they're the sheriff. We launched Operation Greenwave at 8:30 a.m. sharp. The entire block lit up with lawnmowers and sprinklers. Patriotic music blared. Unity had returned to Willow Creek. Ethan arrived 10 minutes later, red-faced and helpless. He tripped over Agnes's hose and landed face first in her tulips. The neighborhood roared. When he lunged for my backup mower, I stepped in. Touch it, and you're leaving in real cuffs. The crowd went silent. Ethan backed off. That night, a new notice arrived. This one accused me of inciting disorder and civil disobedience. I clipped my real badge, the one I earned to my belt. Chief Samuel Thompson, Willow Creek Police Department, was done playing nice. I visited City Hall. The real HOA charter made no mention of Margaret's fantasy rules. Ethan's ID? Fake. His citations? Worthless. The clerk told me mine wasn't the only complaint. Later, I returned home to find a bright orange notice banning gatherings of 3 or more with lawn equipment. Operation Greenwave had officially been outlawed. Time for Operation Reality Check. Sammy set up surveillance. Agnes documented every threat. Father Michael filed a formal complaint. 2 days later, they struck again. Margaret and Ethan returned with a cameraman and a drone. I stepped out, badge gleaming. Margaret, Ethan, walk away now. They froze. I am Chief Samuel Thompson. You're impersonating officers, issuing fake citations, and harassing residents. Margaret tried to argue, claimed emergency governance. Ethan mumbled. Then the deputies I called stepped forward. Margaret screamed about sovereignty. Ethan went pale. They were quietly cuffed and led to the cruiser. The video went viral. HOA tyrants get reality checked by police chief, but I didn't gloat. I just mowed, freedom free and unchained. The block fell into peace until a flyer announced a leadership vote. Margaret had been officially removed at the clubhouse. Agnes ran unopposed, except for Margaret's last-minute nomination. Agnes won in a landslide. Margaret sulked off. Weeks later, we got another letter. Margaret had reinvented herself online, started something called the Civic Order Task Force of Willow Creek. She filed bogus violations and threatened lawsuits. We filed a cease and desist. Then came the courtroom. Margaret represented herself, claimed emotional damages. The judge, a no-nonsense woman, listened patiently, then dismissed it all. Leo, the kid who played sidekick, testified against her. We didn't help anyone. We just scared people. That wasn't leadership. That night, we sat outside. No speeches, just folding chairs, laughter, and peace. Agnes handed me a plaque, Chief of Lawns. I promised to hang it above freedom. Sammy asked, "What's the moral, Mr. Thompson?" The first took a sip of tea. "Never mess with a man's lawn," I said, "or his badge." And with that, Willow Creek became whole again. Not perfect, but whole.